on my Facebook page called From Government to Societal Oversight. What that means is we're going to have a lot less monopolized government and a government more of a monopolized government at least, more of a societal oversight. Making sure your private sector, which is competitive government, governments are doing what they're supposed to do. One of the mandates that I want to create is that everybody has to join a competitive government in every area of what government does. I break government into 30 sectors. Then in every area of government, let's say education, you have to belong to a competitive school board. And they will take care of education for their members only. So from government to societal oversight means the mandate that you get in with the government, a competitive government. And then that competitive government does a job, and it has to do a job to stay a competitive government. So you must do it, and then you must join join and become a member of a competitive government, let's say a competitive school board, and then they will govern you. And if they don't do their job, they lose the ability to be a competitive government, a competitive school board, or a competitive social security agency, or a competitive environmental control agency, or a competitive police agency. We'll talk about a lot of those in a second. They lose that ability to be that. So that alone is societal oversight. But there will be a sector board. Sector boards are when you have a competitive government. All competitive government sends up representatives with the power related to their percentage of members. So if a competitive government has 7% of the members, they have 7% power, voting power in the competitive government. So that's highly important to understand that how much each competitive government sends up representatives powered with. And then only in certain cases, in certain sectors, does that sector board have monopolized control. So not so much. The authorization agencies for the military or the police authorization agency, the commander-in-chief, and the like. So those things will definitely be monopolized. One commander-in-chief, one top diplomat, one police chief, and the authorization agencies being the top. Some prosecutors, you can have a lot of different prosecutors from every different competitive government, and the prosecutors sector will have government prosecutors for each of their members. So that's highly important to understand. So when I say competitive government, I'm not saying a free for all. You get to do what you want. You have to accomplish goals with the government of that sector. You have to accomplish the goals. So the goals will be spelled out. And if your members are causing negative externalities, then that competitive government has to increase their standards, increase their oversight, increase their enforcement, do something so their members are not creating a negative externality. Now, to be a free people, we have to accept some negative externality, but then there has to be a limit on how much that is. So a negative externality might be somebody yelling and screaming. Now, people should be able to yell and scream, but obviously they can't go into somebody's face and yell and scream right in their face or at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So you can do what you want to do. We have to allow people to do what they want to do within limitations. And the limitation is like a 70% majority saying, no, you can't do this. So that's very important. A rating system is going to be a big part of societal oversight. It's going to rate how every competitive government is doing, not just in every regulations, and the results of every competitive government. So what's the result of every school board? What percentage of their kids are up to grade level? What percentage of kids are graduating with what of a SAT scores and stuff like that? What percentage of people's retirement funding is are becoming a burden on society? So a lot of those things have to be held down. The percentage of people being a burden, or people not graduating with high enough SATs or standardized testing and stuff. So things have to be at a certain standard. And a big part of societal oversight is the rating systems have to debate They can't just put out a study and say, this is what we're putting out. They have to answer questions on that from other rating agencies. So if somebody does a study and they say, here it is, no, they have to answer questions from the other rating agencies saying, well, what about this? What about this? What's your standards? What's your studies? Where did you get your data? And if they don't answer it, they have to pull the study and can't use that out there. So if the rating agency doesn't do what they're supposed to do up to certain levels, then they stop being a rating agency. So a big part of the societal oversight is the competitive government, competitive rating agency. They have to meet certain standards, or they forfeit being a competitive government, a competitive rating agency, and then their members have to belong to one, so they have to go elsewhere. Be a member of another competitive rating agency, another CRA, which is competitive government, competitive regulatory agency. Okay, you see how I split government into 30 sectors, from helping the poor to the foreign policy, the commander-in-chief, the military, the police, the prisons, the courts, the prosecutors, the healthcare industry, the financial institutions, the insurance. Insurance is going to take care of Social Security, food regulations, education, competitive school boards, manufacturing, identity, doing the DMV type of things, identity and everything. Environmental transportation is going to go competitive government, which means a lot of free enterprise roads, and then dealing with land and water, dealing with who owns what, will all belong in a certain sector. And there will be certain requirements that a competitive government has to meet to be a competitive government. So that is a huge area of societal oversight. If a group of people, let's say 7 or 8% of the people, say, we're going to govern ourselves, leave us alone, they get to do that, as long as they're not creating negative externalities. And then everybody else has to pretty much leave them alone within their sectors that they can take care of themselves with. So there's a full system, and keep on looking around at Haley2024.org. Until the next video.